So it's October. Fall here in Canada, an absolutely amazing time of year. All the leaves are changing, beautiful views wherever you go. And it's also hunting season, and I'm on the hunt. But I'm not hunting for deer, elk, moose, anything like that. I'm on the hunt for a 1968 to 1972 Chevy Nova. You know, you go out these roads, you just never know what you're gonna find. So I'm intentionally taking the long way around town. Every time I gotta go somewhere, I take a little different route. Now, I know I could easily go on Kijiji or Craigslist and find one of these things, but I'm not looking for something that somebody's been working on. But where's the fun in that? I'm looking for something that's sat outside in a field 30 years, or that's been parked in a barn where a farmer never got to it. I'm looking for something with a story, and that's what I'm gonna find. I know that sounds a little crazy, but I'm kind of a crazy guy, and this is definitely a crazy project. The Nova project began about 2 months ago, but it was born out of a lifelong passion for cars. Because ever since I was a little kid, I've always been addicted to cars. I was always around unique vehicles, crazy characters that all had their own stories with their vehicles. And it was the stories that really made the vehicles special. It wasn't so much just the cars. So what's my story? Well, I don't really have one because this is the beginning. I just think it'd be really cool to create my own story, do something I've never done before. Create a legacy, so this vehicle actually means something to me and my family. And I've always wanted a muscle car, but I never really got around to it. Now I'm 35 years old. I think it's time to take that passion and look for that muscle car, that unique vehicle. You might ask yourself, why a Nova? Why a 68 to 72 Nova? Well, there's lots of really cool cars out there. For whatever reason, the 72 Nova just really stood out. When I see this thing, I just go, wow. And I remember when I was a kid, I always saw it, a little SS symbol in the front, and I just remember thinking it was such a cool vehicle. I didn't even know what it was at the time because I was just a little young kid. My son is a big inspiration for this project.
Who's this? Dada. No, it's not Dada.
Last year, my son was born during the COVID pandemic, and one thing he absolutely got obsessed with is cars. It was one of his first words to come out of his mouth. Now he's a little older, but you know, he's still obsessed with these things. He loves vehicles, and he's kind of reignited my passion for vehicles. But this legacy has to have a beginning, so we got to start somewhere. Beginning this project, I've already had a lot of people tell me I'm absolutely crazy or it's an insane project, I'm not going to find it. There's diamonds in the rough, and this is more like the piece of carbon that's been forgotten somewhere that could be turned into a diamond. It's a challenge I really want to take on, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to find this car. So this is what most of our mornings are like. Just having my coffee, Alexis having his breakfast, watching a little bit of Rust Bros. This show is definitely a big inspiration of what we're doing. I'm a huge fan of this show. Love the stuff that Mike and his team do, how they bring back old cars from the dead and keep them very original. A lot of people rod these cars or they make them just ridiculous, and that's cool too, but I really like the classic look these guys go for. Another thing I'm doing is looking for cars. I'm always looking what's available out there because, yeah, that's right. It's more likely it's somewhere on the internet someone's going to respond than, you know, driving around. So I'm checking here like every morning, not really on the market. However, I did get a message about a week ago from somebody about a Nova. It's in Muskoka. It's about 4 hours away. It looks pretty rough, but in my eyes, it looks savable. It looks like the hood could be changed. You know, you can change the doors. A lot of work on this one. This would be a huge project. But it's the back that I'm a little concerned about. The back looks a little mangled and twisted, so I'm not 100% sure if it's just the angle it's sitting at. So it's the neighbor. There's a property for sale, so he's seen that car there. It's been sitting there since the 1970s, and that's a long time. So I'm kind of worried that the frame might be rotted and it might be no good. So the property is being sold, and he's actually going to take some pictures. So I'm just waiting. His pictures are supposed to come today. Today's a nice day. He wasn't able to go the last couple of days because it's raining. And if this car is good, then I will go to Muskoka, check it out. I'm just waiting on that right now, so hopefully it's good. It could be the car. It could be the one. Okay, so there it is. I think it's been a while since he took those other photos because this looks completely different. It looks much worse. See, that's the problem. Like, if it's been sitting since the 70s, there's no way that frame is in good shape, not after sitting in the dirt for all those years. It's actually a lot worse than I was expecting. You can actually see the window here. It looks like a piece of plastic. That's the window that's come over the steering wheel, and it's just wrapped it up over the years. But like, look at that. All the rot here, everything's like, that's the problem. I can't replace this kind of stuff. I can replace doors, I can replace fenders, hoods. I can't replace that. Yeah, like, I don't know, maybe someone could save this, but I just feel like this is way past my abilities. That's a lot of rot. The thing is, if there's not enough structural integrity in this, then this is not gonna work. I can go try to pull it out and I'll rip it apart with the tow truck. It's embedded in the ground. What a sad story, right? That thing's been sitting there since the 70s. I can't put a new engine and transmission, everything in this, and put a lot of horsepower and then risk the frame not being strong enough. These are C-channel frames, so they're like they're not tubular. The tubular ones were a lot stronger. So you really need the frame to be in good shape. Otherwise, it's not worth doing all this work. Oh, this really sucks. I was really hoping for this one. Gotta keep looking. Found a classic car lot somewhere along the highway in Rockland. I've driven by this thing quite a few times and just never know what you're gonna find. So I'm gonna take a look and see what they have. All these cars just waiting to get a second chance at life, but this is not the one I'm looking for. Gotta keep looking. So one of the things I never mentioned is what the actual plan is with muscle cars. Fact is, I have done a restoration before on this Jeep. Now, I've owned this truck since I was 17 years old. My dad bought it for me as a graduation gift in high school. And if you watch Between the Wheels, you can see a full episode on this truck. And this truck is rather unique. As you can see, this is not a standard Cherokee. It's got a 3.9 liter 4-cylinder Isuzu diesel engine, so it's completely unique. And this is not something that I did. We restored this thing. It took us a couple years. My dad helped out, and we did a lot of work on this, and the whole series is on YouTube as well. You can watch the series. It's called the Mad Max Restoration, but we didn't touch the engine, so the engine was rather untouched. Everything else we pretty much touched, and we also changed the transmission and the clutch and whatnot. So whenever people see this truck, they're like, oh, well, this is a really unique project. You know, you have a really cool engine in here, but it's not something that I did myself. So doing this muscle car project, I really wanted to do every single aspect and learn everything about the build. So I just wanted to take it to the next level. What the plan is once we get the shell of the car, I want to actually remove the engine, remove the drivetrain, remove everything, and put a brand new LS motor in it. Now, my friend Pat, who has a Corvette Stingray, we did an episode on him on Between the Wheels, is doing the exact same thing, except he pulled an LS engine out of the junkyard and is rebuilding it. So a very similar project. We want to do the same thing, but we're planning on a new engine, just so we have 100% reliability. If we're going to put this much work in, we want to have something that's reliable so we can actually enjoy it, rather than just have it stand in the yard. Now, an LS motor is much newer. They were created in 1997, and they've kind of become the popular replacement for the old carbureted engines. So they're fuel injection engines, so they're a lot more reliable, a lot better on gas. They're V8s. They have a lot of power. There's a lot you can do to them. You know, this was a great project. Let's hope we can find this car. We're gonna keep looking. So a couple developments on the Nova. There's actually been a couple options that have shown up. First one is an actual Nova itself, an SS, all the way in Toronto. It's about 5-6 hour drive or so. However, the car doesn't have a transmission and engine. The guy was asking for 10 grand, which I find a little steep. Now it is an SS, but it seems to be in a little rougher shape. Like if I'm looking at it here, that's how big photos he sent me. So kind of small photos to be selling a car. That is the car I'm looking for. So it is around, and this one's missing a couple parts, but all in all, like that's the car right there, man. That's the Chevy Nova. So it does exist. There are some around, and this one was really, really hard to pass up because I actually ended up saying no. For whatever reason, I just feel like this isn't the car. Like $10,000 is a lot of money. At the same time, I'm Eastern European, so you know what? I like a good deal. And this just does not feel like the car. For some reason, you know, it was really hard to say no. When I said no, the guy got angry at me. So that was kind of an indicator that, you know what, this is not the right one. Because the thing is, I've had this situation, a lot of things. You know, you're buying a house, like we were house hunting before. You know, we found a house we liked, really wanted it, didn't get it. It was like, oh man, I wish we had got it. And then we got another one, which is way better. So this has happened multiple times. So if this is not the right one, the right one's out there. But at the same time, something else has happened. So doing this journey, what's happened, what's really cool is people have started contacting me that I don't even know to try to help. It's not like these people know me or owe me anything. And yet they're doing all this work for me. I just feel very, very thankful that there's so many people out there just want to help because they like the story, and I just find that incredible. Like, it's very touching. There's all these other cars. You can get a Buick Skylark, $4,500 for a complete car, has a V8 in it. You got to ask yourself financially what's worth it. You know, this is like way better bang for your buck than getting something that's not even running and totally rusted out. I don't know anymore. I'm just thinking to myself, what's the right move here? So it's become difficult, and financially, 10 grand right now would be really difficult. I don't think I could pull that off. It would not be smart in my situation. We're renovating an old house. So I'm doing a lot of that stuff myself. Our situation right now is we actually have another kid on the way. We just found out not long ago. We don't know if it's a boy or girl. We're gonna keep that a surprise, even to ourselves. That is life. And then the dream, it's like, this is the dream, and the dream's starting to fall behind. So what makes sense? How do I make this happen? At the same time, do I sacrifice the story that I wanted so bad, that I mentioned at the beginning of this episode? You know, I want that unique car, the unique story. I don't know. It's just, I feel right now, I'm not really sure what to do. So I'm gonna do what a famous Rush song says, and Geddy Lee in that song says, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to decide anything right now. I'm just going to kind of let life take over, and we'll see what happens. I really could use some inspiration right now, and I'm not really sure what that is, but we'll see what happens.
Go ahead. Look, he's got his foot up there.
There he goes. So you understand this journey because you had an old car. You had a 72 Charger.
That's right.
Yeah. So what was it like having a car like that?
Well, something like that with 425 horse, you have to respect that, because it's not everybody that could drive something like that, because you'll lose the ass end. Next thing you know, you're in the ditch. Just the feeling is like the adrenaline is quite high.
The part I've had trouble with is I've been doing this journey. I really wanted a 68 to 72 Nova. Do you think I should kind of be more open to like a bigger, broader like amount of different cars? Because maybe there's something out there that I didn't find that might be better. I don't know. Or is it like, if I see a Nova, I'll be like, oh man, I really wish I had got it. Like, what do you think?
Well, that all depends again on the, you know, you don't want to spend that much, first of all, and it's got to be a project that you want to take on your own.
Definitely.
Start from the frame up and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
The early 70s for sure, they're worth more money, but if you go up in the mid 70s, they're not as worth as much. I mean,
right.
The style of the car has changed,
Yeah.
but they're still widely available, and they're a lot cheaper.
Right.
As long as the frame is all good. You stay in the range of, I don't know, it all depends on your budget, but $5,000 to $7,000.
Yeah.
I mean, you have something to start with.
Right.
You could get it cheaper too.
Because I found a Nova, and the guy wanted 10 grand, and I just had this feeling like I shouldn't get it. Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, it all depends on what kind of shape it's in. For $10,000, I mean, it's got to be fairly solid.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's got missing components like the motor and tranny,
Yeah.
I mean, that's fairly easy to find.
When I started this journey, I wanted to do a car that has some sort of story where, you know, it's neglected, left somewhere, or
Yeah.
it's in a field, or like someone had one and they didn't finish it. But this one doesn't really have that much of a story, so I got kind of turned off from it. I know that's kind of weird for a lot of people.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Can't be in too much of a hurry. The right car will come by, you'll see it, it'll be the right price for you, and it'll be fairly solid.
When you had the Charger, how did you know that was the car?
I just fell in love with it. The thing looked like a shark.
Yeah. So you knew right there and then that was your car?
That was my car, yeah. Even if it was a full-size car, it was still a beautiful car to me.
Wow. I kind of felt that way was the one that was really, you know, rusted and rotted in the field, but that one was past saving. Yeah. But I didn't get that feeling with the one I saw in Toronto.
The best, man, is crawl underneath, make sure that the fucking whatever frame kind of type of frame it is.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they're unibodies. Make sure
it is a unibody. That's
so
the problem.
The unibodies, man, it's got to be, take a screwdriver and hit it hard. If it's too soft,
yeah, it's
not worth it. You put a big motor in that, it'll twist.
That's my issue. I don't want to do that. What's the point?
Twist the car, it's going to be an unsafe car.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Okay.
You want something solid, man. The frame at least solid.
Yeah, I guess I just have to keep looking.
That's right. Once you get that feeling, you'll know.
I'll know? Okay. Yeah. Thanks for the advice. Gilles had some great advice, but he didn't answer all my questions. There was still the burning question in my mind. Is it the Chevy Nova that I'm after? Or is there another vehicle out there, somewhere with a story that I don't even know about, that I'm neglecting because I'm so focused on this one goal? There was one place I could think of to go to get some inspiration. Welcome to Joe's Boneyard, a classic car sanctuary containing over 400 classic vehicles. These vehicles are past saving and were brought here in order to preserve history. Rather than being crushed, they now remain here as a reminder what times used to be like. It's a walk through time, a journey into the past. It's easy to look at these vehicles and imagine what journeys they have been through and what everyday life looked like. Each one of these old relics containing their own unique story. If there was any place on earth that would help me answer my question, it was right here in Joe's Boneyard. There she is, 1968 and 1972 Chevy Nova. Finally found one. You know, as I sit here, I look at this car, I think to myself, there's two things that really stuck to me. One, I look at this and I say to myself, man, it would be cool to save this. But if you look inside, you'll realize that this car is past the point of no return. And in fact, most of the cars here are past the point of no return, and that's why they're here. So in Joe's Boneyard here, he's got over 400 cars, and these cars are not for sale. It's like a big museum. It's an outdoor museum of old vehicles and whatnot. So I noticed a couple that are still, you know, savable, but for the most part, most of these cars are pretty much artifacts from the past. They're no longer something that's going to be used in the future. They're not meant to be here to, you know, to hoard vehicles. It's almost like a window into the past. People can go look, see what type of vehicles were around. Because what Joe's done here at the Boneyard is he's saved all these vehicles. Most of these vehicles would go to the crusher and be gone forever. But instead, he's had them here, he's preserving them, and you have the memories here. You know, old timers can come here and see their old cars and they say, wow, you know, I used to see those, I remember seeing those on the street. And then young families can see basically what it was like in the past having a vehicle, these old boats they used to have. This is really nice of Joe to do this because this is not a public place to photographers and videographers, so we're very honored to be here and see into the past. It's really cool to see one of these in person. However, the second thing that comes to mind is the fact that it's not the car that's drawing me so much to this. It's the type of condition that the car is in. If you look at this car, you know, it's gone basically. It's done its time, and it's kind of a sad situation. And I feel that way about all these different cars here. And I know a lot of vintage car collectors and restorers feel that way too. And that's why they want to bring them back to life. The truth is, the thing that drew me to this adventure was not the car itself. It was the story behind the car. And I could see now coming here, it's reminding me of what's important. Now I turned down that one Nova before, you know what? It turned out to be a good thing, because the seller, he ended up sending me messages harassing me that, you know, I don't deserve this car and blah, 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 and I should take my ad down. So that's a clear sign that that was not the car. You know, when you got someone like that, a jerk like that, it's best just to turn around and leave. They're not worth your time. I would rather find a car that means something to somebody, not something that someone wants to get rid of in a week. Maybe Jill wasn't able to answer my question, but this place sure as hell did. I gotta focus on the main thing, and that's the story. Fortunately, gotta say goodbye to this guy, but this is a really cool place. So you know what it's like to have a fun car, because you guys had the Charger.
We sure did.
Yeah, I didn't have a car that cool. I had an Aerostar, Ford Aerostar, which is a legend in its own way, but not as fun, that's for sure.
It was really fun for us because my dad would just put us in the back seat and my siblings would be in their car seat, but I was old enough, I think, to be on the regular seat. He would do some donuts and some burnouts.
Oh,
and cool. Yeah, we really loved it.
I can imagine. See, I really never got to experience that, but that's why I thought it'd be really cool for Lex to experience something like that, and whatever other kids we have, you know, it'd be really cool. But, you know, doing that, when I started this, I showed you a bunch of cars, and you liked the Nova, so that was one of the reasons I wanted to do it. But I know, like, a Charger, like, it would be super cool to have a Charger.
That would be really cool.
But if we're doing that, I've had a lot of people contact me, and I have a bunch recently. I want to show you some cars, some options, and I'm just curious what you think, because some of them might be okay, some might not. So the first one was the Skylark, right? I know you weren't a huge fan of that one.
No.
I know that one's very similar to the Nova, but you didn't like that one. Then there's another one someone contacted me about, this, a Plymouth Fury.
No.
No, kind of, it's a cool car, but very different style. And then a Barracuda was probably the nicest one that someone contacted me with.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad, right? And then the last one, a GTX Belvedere.
That looks good.
Oh, it's pretty good though.
Yeah.
The only problem, like, I like the Belvedere. This is the one I was like, oh, I found two of them, but this one is incredibly expensive if we did it. It's an over $100,000 car when you're done, but the thing is, at that point, you might as well just do like a Charger, because like you would prefer a Charger over that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, I'll be more open to looking for Chargers, but still hoping for the Nova. It'd be kind of fun. What do you think?
I think whatever car you're gonna get is the one that you're gonna love.
That's true, but I want you to love it too. That's the thing. It's not just about me, right? I wanted you to enjoy it just as much as.
Well, you know which car I love, so.
Okay, well that's what I need to work with. We'll see what happens. So it's December, the snow's here, so winter is officially here. I thought I'd be shut down this time of year, but I'm going to do something that I didn't expect to do. You know, I almost gave up on this year. I thought that was the end of the season. People put their cars away and that's it. And all of a sudden I get this message from a good friend of mine, Seb. He's a vintage car restorer on the Gatineau side, and he has found something. What he has found is rather unique. So it's a Nova, but it's not a Nova. And I'm actually gonna get him to explain exactly what I mean by that. But this car has sat for, I think it's like 30 or something years, for a very long time, neglected, much like the first car that I found. And we're gonna go check this thing out. And he's a vintage car mechanic, so it's good that he's gonna go with me because he understands these vehicles. He knows what can be saved and what can't be saved. So it's just good to have an opinion from an expert. And at the same time, he's a great friend of mine, and it's nice to see him again. He has provided a lot of vehicles in the past for short films I've done, and he's one of those guys that he's just so much better at his job than the average person. Like, this guy's a gem. You know, he's one in a million. He's incredible at what he does, and he's a real asset for us to have. It's nice to see him too, because honestly, this almost didn't happen, because earlier this year, much like I'm driving now in the winter on the ice, he was doing that and he had a horrible car accident and he almost didn't survive. On a scale out of 15, it was his accident was right at a 13, and he had severe damage. He unfortunately had his shoulder was all ripped apart. He's suffered brain damage, and it took them over 30 minutes to get him out of the freezing cold. So he's really lucky to be alive. Out of anybody in this journey, no offense to even my wife, this guy's been my #1 supporter. Nobody has believed in this as much as he has. And I'm just really thankful to have him in my life. He potentially has something for us. I don't know though. I don't know if this car's gonna be any good. We're gonna check it out right now. We'll go take a look, and he's gonna be the one to tell us whether it's worth it or not. So Seb, we started the year filming with you, and we're finishing the year filming with you. We did an episode for our other show, Between the Wheels. We did your Camaro.
Yeah.
You did some nice burnouts there. That was fun.
Yeah. Oh, that was nice, man.
And now we're going to find this car that you found, but this car is not a Nova.
It's a Pontiac Ventura.
Okay.
It's the brother of Chevy Nova.
So when we were speaking off camera, it's basically the same body, it's just a different front end.
Exact same. Yeah, I think this car is from 72. That, as I can see the pictures.
And it has the same front clip, so you can change it. You can change the front end to a Nova, right? Like if I wanted to make it look like a Nova, I could actually do that.
Yeah, we can make a Nova out of it. It's no big deal.
Right. And this car, how long has it been sitting?
It's been sit for very, very long.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what worries me about the frame, and that's why I wanted you to show me it. Maybe it's savable. The body doesn't look terrible from the pictures.
Exactly. The picture, you can say it's like, whoa, it looks nice, but when you arrive there, it can be something there really different.
Yeah, it's like when you're buying houses on real estate. You know, it looks beautiful. You go there, it's a shithole.
It's like a girl, eh? You don't have to trust the picture. You have to see it for real. It's all by the inside, eh?
Yeah.
It's not just the outside that counts. That's where exactly.
You're a philosopher too. I like it. You're not just a mechanic.
no, but we need to go see it. Like
that's right.
We have to find out what is the condition of that car.
Okay.
202 for Garty. I think
This looks
you're
like
able to drive there.
Yeah. That's probably
Oh
his.
my, eh? That's a field.
Yeah.
It's been parked in a field somewhere.
Somebody drove this into the woods.
Yeah, so that car was able to drive.
Wow, it is really in there.
Oh jeez.
Oh Jesus, right. Look at these wheels. This thing has definitely been parked here since, oh, it might have actually been the 70s or 80s.
It's been parked there for a really long time.
Yeah, a really long time. What do you see in there? No bodies, hopefully.
Barnac.
Yeah, so it is a 72.
4th week of January 72. Shadow gold.
So it changed from that was gold? Wow. So what do you think, Seb?
It was gone when they parked it here. Yeah.
There's another car, another Ventura over there. It's like a Ventura graveyard. Wow. And here it is, winter. It's finally here. And that means one thing. That means this year we didn't achieve our goal. We're not getting our car. People put their cars away this time of year, and it's pretty much the end of the season, so unfortunately we're gonna have to wait till next year. But that's okay, because good things come to those who wait. And this year it just was not meant to be. The thing is, this journey began with searching for a Nova with a story, and it's changed quite a bit since then, and to be honest with you, I'm not even sure what it is anymore. And one day we will find our car. We're not sure which one it is. Now I know a lot of you will think, what the hell? The guy said no to a $10,000 SS Nova. He could have got that. That other Nova, that was not the right one. Even though it was the exact car we were looking for, you know, that guy's changed his name on Kijiji about 3 or 4 times since I went to that. I think we really dodged something there, so I think it's worth waiting. The right one will come. Since beginning this journey, the one thing people have asked me is, why do this journey at all? What's the point of doing this car? You know, I grew up watching Dukes of Hazzard. That was my favorite show. My son likes the show now too, which is hilarious. So another generation just show you how good those shows are. And this is something I want to do with them so that we can enjoy this as a family, not just for myself. The thing is, you know, time goes by, you get older, things change, and every single year, more stresses get added and things are taken away from you. You know, your youth is taken away from you. You know, you wake up one day, you got gray hair, all of a sudden you got no hair, you got wrinkles, and you look in the mirror one day and you don't even recognize yourself. You just realize that time has passed you by. And that happens to everybody, and that's not something you can avoid. But the thing is, one thing I've always been told is by the old timers, that when they get in these old cars and they get in and they feel like they're 18 again. Like time stands still, like it doesn't matter, all your problems go away. It's like going back in time. And that's why I want to do this. Now that's something that I didn't get to experience in my life, but it's something I would love to do, and I would love to experience that with my family. Cars bring people together, and this is a great way to spend time together and create new memories. And I think Mike Hall said it best when his mother passed away. He said that everybody's got their time on this earth, and everybody's time eventually runs out, and there's no time like now. But at the end of the day, it's just a piece of metal. The most important thing is to continue living life, making memories with your family, and just enjoying every moment you have on this earth. We're gonna find our car. It's gonna take longer than we thought, and that's okay. So there you have it. That's the pilot for the restoration series. We didn't get our car, but this is the part of the video where your voice can be heard. So this is where you can help me out. So I have a bunch of questions, and I want you guys to write in the comments. Let me know what you think. First of all, this series, is it interesting? Is it something you guys want to see? Is it worth me actually finding a car and restoring it on camera? Like, I'm gonna do it anyways, but is it something that you guys want to see, or should this be left to a professional, you know, somebody that knows what they're doing? Or did you like this whole, you know, crazy adventure that we had so far? That just kind of gives you a taste. Second thing is, what would you do in my shoes? Did I make the right decisions in this? You know, did I make the wrong decision? Should I have taken that other Nova? Or should I go for a different car? Because at this point, honestly, it's hard to know what to do. You go through this, there's so many ups and downs, and it's just an emotional roller coaster. It's really hard to know what the right decision is. So I would like you guys to let me know what you think, because for me, it's tough. At this point, I really don't know. Do we go for a different car? Like, do we go for a Charger like my wife wants? But obviously, she likes something like the 69, which everyone else wants, which is also a crazy project. Then you can't really do the LS engine swap, or maybe you can. I don't know. Maybe you can give me some tips there, because I still want to do that engine swap. I've had mechanic friends tell me, no, it'd be a disaster to do that with the LS engine swap, which is something I really want to do. So that stage is really important. I want to do the engine swap. So mechanics out there, let me know what's possible, what you would do, because I just don't know, and that's why I need your guys' help. Give me any tips you have, any comments you think, let me know. If you liked it, let me know. If you hated it, let me know. And the third thing is, do you know of this car that I'm looking for? Do you know somebody or somewhere where it is? Let us know. You can contact us. You can go to my website, www.subdivisionauto.com. Leave it in the comments as well, and let us know, because it might be out there. And if you've seen it, you know, this video's been around for a while, and we did find a car, well, then you're going to find it, the video right there. You can keep watching. You can start watching this series. And if we didn't find our car, this link will not exist. You can go down here and watch the previous video we did of restoring our Jeep Cherokee. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and thanks for the support. It was really nice of you guys to spend all this time watching this crazy video.